El filósofo neerlandés Rob Riemen nos ha ofrecido una serie de reflexiones sobre el autoritarismo, sobre el fascismo, sobre la importancia de construir un régimen de libertades. Y lo ha hecho de distintas maneras, a través de distintos libros y también utilizando un instituto que se llama el Instituto Nexus, que se dedica precisamente a promover estas ideas liberales, estas ideas de libertad. Ahora ha venido a México y nos está invitando a leer un libro que es distinto a los libros que he leído de él en el pasado. Es un libro en el que utiliza reflexiones filosóficas, como es común en su caso, pero que también está lleno como de anécdotas con personajes de la literatura o escritores o pensadores que nos ofrecen una narrativa de cómo podemos ver a nuestros tiempos en este momento. Yo quiero agradecer a Rob Riemen el que se encuentre con nosotros para presentar La palabra que vence a la muerte, y quiero decirle que vamos a estar haciendo esta conversación en inglés. Rob, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. The book La palabra que vence a la muerte, cuentos de verdadera grandeza. The idea is greatness. But it's a greatness, you tell us, that has been actually misconceived, has been bastardized over the past few years or the past few decades. Tell us about greatness. What is the greatness you're questioning in this book?
Well, it's the fundamental difference between a greatness which relates to a concept of quality, moral quality, spiritual quality.
Like when we speak of the greatness of Goethe or Schiller, the great poets, the great
or Teresa, of people who are doing good, right? It could be nurses, it could be police people, it could be quote unquote the most ordinary people who want to do the right thing. In opposition to a concept of quality which is based on quantity, which is based on the biggest number, and the biggest number can relate to your bank account, but also can relate to this phenomenon of our time, the influencers, the celebrities.
We have a cult of, the greatest billionaires or the richest of billionaires. If you're not on the top 10, then you're out, even if you have billions of dollars. But we also see that in politics. You talk about the fact that Donald Trump wants to make America great again. What does that mean?
Well, we should ask him. But as far as we can judge his politics, his concept of greatness is first of all very much related to the greatness of his own bank account and the bank account of his sons, his family. Everything is related to making deals. And the people who are paying the price for it are, quote unquote, most of the ordinary Americans, including many people from Latin America who voted for him because they really thought this is a businessman, he can make our lives better, and now they are deported. So this idea of greatness, we see it in America, we see it in Russia, we see it in China, we see it in Israel, we see it in Saudi Arabia, we see it in many places. But again, it's a greatness which is depriving us from a sense of what the meaning of life is all about. It's depriving us of a sense of our human dignity. And therefore it's a quite dangerous phenomenon, because if we really start to believe that the only greatness is this greatness of materialistic issues, of being the most powerful man on the planet, then what is it, right? The people who really turned this place into a better world wanted to give justice, a truth, a home in our world, and so that people can live together, in harmony. But what we are seeing is this obsession with a kind of political, economic greatness. It's driving people apart, and it's only creating violence and wars.
This is a peculiar book because it has philosophical reflections, like a philosophy book, but at the same time you stage a series of sketches with people that we've heard about, that we've read over the time, Thomas Mann and his wife, for example. But there's a character that I personally admire, Simone Weil, and she comes out and she has to think about what we should do to punish, for example, someone like Adolf Hitler. Tell us about that passage.
Yeah, well, I wrote the prologue, and
Yes.
in the tradition of Goethe, his Faust, the prologue is the world stage, and in this world stage, people are confronted with Mr. Greatness, and Mr. Greatness is doing a high mass in awe of the greatest number. So, and when this festival of greatness is going on, from the back of the stage are coming people from the past. The first one is Simone Weil. Simone Weil was talking about being peculiar, an enormous, intelligent, almost mystic figure, a social activist who wanted
Jewish.
very Jewish, but also hating Judaism. So she was.
She was different. She was a.
She was
had a conscience. She was an ethical person.
Absolutely. And one of what I refer to when she's coming on stage to warn us against the false greatness relates to the fact that when in 43 or 44, just before she died from tuberculosis and her bad health, and the bad health was related to the fact that she didn't eat, because if the whole world is not eating, why should I eat? At the request of General de Gaulle, she wrote a book on rerouting society, civilization, the rooting of civilization, because it has to be rooted in certain fundamental moral and spiritual values. And then she's telling this warning. She said, look, now in the war, all of us are thinking, how can we punish this Mr. Hitler? Because can we torture him? Can we put him in prison for the rest of his life? Should we kill him immediately? He said, but that's not the way to punish this man. Because this man has only one obsession, that is to be the greatest figure in history. So, and the only way to punish him is to take away that idea of greatness and tell young people, this is not the kind of greatness you should follow. Now, I wanted to tell this story because we noticed that the last elections in America, where Trump won the popular vote, especially young men, not women, but especially young men, Generation Z, from the Instagram generation, most of them voted for Trump and are in awe of Elon Musk because they think their greatness, their idea of being a man, that is what we should aspire for. And it's this, and it's a false greatness, right? It's because, again, as we just said, there is no moral value in it. So it's empty. You know, you can have all the power in the world, you can have all the money in the world, but your life is pretty meaningless because it's only about that. It's empty. So that's where Simone Weil comes in, and then a few others come in. And then at the end of the day, there is the muse of history, Cleo, who wants to tell us about, well, you know, I'm there since the beginning of mankind, and history can tell you something.
Now, history can tell you something, but now we have influencers. Now we have people who send a message through Instagram or TikTok, and they tell us what we have to think in about a minute or 2 minutes at most. How is that changing us as a society?
Well, look, I'm pretty certain that most of those influencers are extremely nice people with whom you can have a drink. And I do not know because I do not know them. but it's a really strange idea that because of that you can do a nice dance on TikTok, or that you can promote a certain makeup or whatever there is, or because you're famous with a certain song, therefore you have anything to say about politics, about geopolitics. I mean, it's not their fault. It's our fault that we start to think that because you are representing this big number, we consider you an influencer. So how it's changing us? Well, why should we listen to those people? Listen, and you know, take them as
but they have millions of followers, quantity.
Yeah. But yes, and so ignore. Listen, and again, this is why I wrote this book. It's the kind of madness in our society that we all start to believe in the power and the importance of the biggest number. And everything is now related to numbers, right? I mean, everything is related in the world of media is related to ratings. And if the ratings now are not good enough, you're gone. And because those people who represent the biggest number, because they are a celebrity or a billionaire or a wonderful soccer player like Messi. Look, I think that Messi is one of the best soccer players. Well, everybody knows he's one of the best soccer players in the world. But please don't tell us about politics, okay? It's not your thing. And I guess he even does not do this.
So I shouldn't be concerned with ratings. I mean, I just shouldn't be concerned. I'm sure that if I were interviewing Leo Messi, I would create a tremendous rating. But instead, I'm interviewing a philosopher that I like to read, Rob Riemen, and maybe my rating isn't going to be as great as
and this is one of the reasons why I love you, your program, and Mexico City. No, but let me tell you the following: in the Netherlands, my country, this program would be impossible.
Okay.
Because there are no philosophers allowed on public television to do. First of all, we don't have them anymore. We had them, but we don't have them anymore. And these programs are completely impossible. If you go on French television, it's still possible to have a kind of talk show with 3-4 intelligent people talking about really important. It's no longer the case in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, it's all over. It's like an American style.
Entertainment,
and it's all about ratings. Again, that you give me an opportunity, as the philosopher you are yourself, to talk about the big questions of our time. That's pretty unique, and it's also, whatever the problems are in this country, but bless the person who created this television channel and gives us the opportunity to do these things.
I'll tell Mr. Ricardo Salinas that you said. Well, I'll send him the video. But tell me, what is the greatness that we should be striving for? What is the greatness that we should be looking at this time in our lifetime?
Well, okay. As both of us are getting a little bit older, right?
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm quite happy with my age.
I'm also very happy with my age, and hopefully we're around for a few more decades to do the things we have to do. But there will come a moment that we are on our way out, right?
Okay, that's
hopefully in a decent way. And I can easily imagine that we are like the first story, Thomas Mann, on his deathbed, and is reflecting about what he did in his life. And then it's to be hopeful that when you start reflecting on what you have done with your life, you can come to the conclusion, at least I had a meaningful life. I did something meaningful for myself, for the people around it, for the world. The ultimate nightmare, I guess, should be that you live there and that you come to the conclusion, wow, it was completely meaningless. The only thing I concerned about was myself and a lot of money, whatever. And so yesterday I had the privilege to give a class for around 60, 70 students of Ibero-American University. And I told them the story of the death of Ivan Ilyich by Tolstoy. I said it's a short, wonderful story, and very short. It is about a bureaucrat. He did everything correct all his life, and he thought, the right people, the right dinner parties, and then suddenly he's hit by cancer. And then it turns out that he has no friends, because the friends weren't only interested in him as somebody they could use for their own interest. And then his marriage is falling apart. And then he comes to the conclusion, I did everything right, but there was nothing in it.
Except living life.
Except living life. So again, this relates to, at the very moment we forget the notion of what gives quality to my life. What makes my life really meaningful? And this is also this thing called artificial intelligence, right? It's the new kid in town, it's the gold rush, everything, artificial intelligence. And I said to the students, okay, let's do the following exercise. Let's think about what is artificial love? What is artificial justice? What is artificial wisdom? What are artificial friendships? Well, you immediately realize it's fake. Yes, it's fake, It's not real love. It's not real justice. The same is true with artificial intelligence. It is not intelligent at all.
Well, Thank you, Rob Riemen, for talking to me and for inviting me to read La palabra que vence a la muerte, cuentos de verdadera grandeza, and I do hope our lives at the end will be worth remembering because they've been well lived.
Yes, and that we can continue this conversation for many, many more years.
We will continue. Every time you're here, you know that I like to talk to you.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias a ti y a usted, amigo, que al vernos y escucharnos hace posible este programa, se lo agradezco también. Esto es todo por hoy, pero no se le olvide. Nos vemos la próxima.